dead. It's dead. Stop putting your faith in politicians, man. And politicians, it's all about chatting shit. You lot are making me mad about the political stuff in it. So we're gonna move on now. I don't want to talk about life right now. It's dark, innit? The government is like a teenage girl with her first credit card. Their spending is out of control. But again, that's why they're doing it. Because you see, when you're a politician, it's a video game for them. They're all laughing and joking like fucking cunts in the House of Commons or whatever. And they're all going, all their kids go to the same school. They're debating over things that harm people's real lives. And it's just a game for them. All of these guys make promises, get into government, and they can run away without being held accountable. Look at David Cameron. Look at what's my man that ended up on I'm a Celebrity, but you're making me vex, man. Contract updates: 20 players to depart this summer. Mazzolini. The following 12 players have left Arsenal Football Club, people, in alphabetical order. Nathan Butler-Ojeji made his debut. Big him up. Reece Clermont, Kion Edwards, big him up. Jakai Fisher, Ramari Ford, big him up. Tija Goldie, Jimmy Gower, Jack Henry Francis, Lena Huting, Amanda Elisteg, forgive me, Jorginho, Max Koritzinski, Salah Odin, Ishmael Odin, Neto, Brian Okonku, Kwesnador Fawn, Zachariah Scrub, Raheem Sterling and Kieran Tierney. In addition, the following players' contracts also expire on June 2025. Discussions are ongoing, and once matters are finalized between all parties, we will communicate in due course. Thomas Partey, Rosiak, and Chloe Kelly. So we're trying to extend these lot deals. Why not Sterling's though? His son signed for us. Might as well keep him. How come while using Twitch on the phone it keeps pausing? I don't know, my guy. At least Germany has free healthcare. Big up you lot. The only thing you're promised in life is taxes and death. You know the vibes. It's dark, innit? Like, it's dark, innit? Germany is the same tax rate as criminal because it's designed to keep us at the bottom. You tax people, you stop their earnings, you stop them saving, you stop them investing. Ultimately, the more money you get, the more options you have. The more options you have, the more freedom you have. The more freedom you have, the more control you have. They don't want you to be in control. This pagan population really ruined my COVID Thursdays by banging pots. But when the same doctors and nurses say them slaps don't pay bills, the population told them to their face, sharp and deal with it. One thing I think we do in society is British misery loves company, man. Like, teenagers could talk about how tough it is, and older dons will come out and say, "Oh, but it's tough in my day," and we still made it work. Okay, but it really isn't. This generation is the first generation that's going to be worse off than their parents. But again, we're going left with it. I did see this on The Athletic. Gyökeres or Seško for Arsenal. We asked agents, sporting directors, and coaches who they'd pick. Seško, 22, has long been considered one of the most promising young talents in Europe, and his 14 goals in 2024-25, including a run of 7 in the German side's final 7 games, further proved his potential. Gyökeres is 5 years older, but has been one of the most consistent players in the game over the past 2 seasons, scoring 68 league goals for his Portuguese team. Both, however, are unknown qualities in the Premier League. Gyökeres has been on the books of Brighton and Hove Albion, Swansea City, and Coventry in the English game, but has only ever played in domestic cups during 3 years with the former, who loaned him out to the latter 2 in the second-tier Championship during the 2020-21 season, before Coventry bought him the following summer. While Isaac has long been Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta's first-choice purchase, that is a myth. Again, can we just get into the bulk of it? If they are to sell Seško this summer, Leipzig's preference is to do a deal so early so they can rebuild their squad over the coming weeks, given they failed to qualify for the Champions League. His departure would help plug a financial gap. For one head coach who is well-versed in the Red Bull clubs and watches them closely, the answer to Arsenal's problems can be found in Leipzig. Normally, I like to work with younger players to develop them, so I'd go for Seško. Fair enough, but that your bias is younger players, so you might not be impartial, but with younger players, you can mold their attitude. Arteta would love that. Create the values you want and help them take the next step. Look at Barca, for example. They have a team full of young, exciting players. The same can be said for PSG, who have just dominated the Champions League. Is that really fair with PSG? They got a bunch of young players. Barca the same, but there is also significantly experienced players in and around. Seško, a player with a lot of speed for his game. To go to the next level, he needs consistency, especially against the ball, because strikers can sometimes be lazy, but he has the qualities needed to go to the next level. Ooh. Okay. One agent, in contrast to the head coach quoted above, believes Arsenal would be better served targeting Gyökeres and dismissed the idea they would lose value because of the Swedish forward's age. He's 27. I remember I said he's 27. You can still do something for 5 years. Let's see what this Donny said. If you sign a striker who's 27, which Gyökeres turns this week, as a club, you have him for 4 years, then you've done well out of that deal. The reality is that clubs don't keep players for multiple years now anyway. So Arsenal have to decide who is going to help them win today, not in 4 years' time. And it's difficult to look beyond Gyökeres' record. If you have two players who had exactly the same output and exactly the same style, you'd naturally go for the player who is 4 years younger. But in this instance, they are two players with completely different goal scorer records. So you sign the player that gets you over the line in terms of winning titles. I agree with that. And then someone said, you just signed the best player. You take into account your style of play and who's better suited to your system. With every transfer, there's an element of not having a crystal ball. Someone like Seško may not develop how well you think he will, while Gyökeres may not be any good in the Premier League. But if there is that much of a question mark over each player, then maybe it's not the right one in either case, and they should be looking elsewhere. Arsenal had targeted Ollie Watkins in January, while one agent ironically suggested they should take a look at Monaco's Mika Beref. Arteta's not going to buy him back, mate. Like he was here, swimming training. We know he's 22 years of age. Anyways, man, what's going on here? If you've done a good job and you've got the right people in place, everyone should be on the same page. If you take a club like Arsenal, the expectation is for them to win now, but there's a secondary expectation that they will be sustainable and continue to win. I agree with that. And what else? That's going to be a big debate. The safe decision would be Gyökeres because you know he's still scoring goals frequently and will probably be the answer now. But there's no guarantee someone experienced who's knocking in goals at the top level is going to come in and make that transition either. It's a fine line, but that's what Andrea is getting paid the big bucks for, to get it right, to satisfy his manager and the club's owners and fans. Fair play. If you're in a disagreement at this stage, there's something wrong about the way you're working together and the way you're drawing up targets. If you're working from a long list down to a short list, the sporting director and manager should both be involved in those discussions all the way, to the point where if you're down to two players, you're going to be happy with either one. If you're happy with either player, then it'll probably be easier to go with the coach's view. Okay. Head coaches who we spoke to favors a move for Seško, for example, raises the importance of selecting a striker who gets the best out of other players such as Kai Havertz. Fuck's sake. The German was signed as an attacking midfielder but has been used predominantly as a centre forward. Kai Havertz is the type of player Seško needs around him. For me, Kai Havertz's best position is the 10 row and not a striker. Odegaard, you might be in trouble. So if you want, or maybe Odegaard goes into 8, maybe you play 2 8s. Maybe you got Odegaard as an 8 on the left, which I don't know. Maybe you got Rice doing exactly what he does on the left, on the right. You've got Kai in that role, who, if Kai was fit, I think Odegaard would have been dropped. And you've got Seško. I don't know, people. So if you want to play with a 10 and a striker, then Havertz and Seško can work that way. I might do a video on this, maybe looking back at Havertz's live sick days. Maybe if you lot want it, let me know, people. A video where we really fine tune Gyökeres and Seško. I'm all about giving you lot quality. So smash the like button and subscribe. From what I saw of Arsenal last season, they were a little bit more direct. And if they had a target player like Seško up front, then Havertz in the 10 position, then it'd be interesting next season. The one thing everyone seems to agree on is that Arsenal require a centre forward this summer. But whether that is Gyökeres, Seško, or somebody else remains up for debate. Do Arsenal want to go for a proven goal scorer with no Premier League experience, or a still developing project player who could become a leading line forward at the club for years to come? It's a big moment for Arteta, Berta, and the rest of Arsenal's hierarchy. Gyökeres has an incredible goal record and is a ready-made star, but Seško is proven in major European league and has potential. Who should Arsenal sign this summer? In an ideal world for Arsenal, Aston Villa would have beaten Man United on the final day of the season and edged Newcastle out. Yeah, we might have had a case of signing Isak. Forget this Isak stuff. We know the number 9 position is a priority. We knew we drew 14 of our 38 games. It sounds mad, and I almost don't believe it, when I see that even more. I'd take Gyökeres. Arsenal are waiting for July the 1st to make transfers so they can get profit from cash reserves, which is why Seško Gyökeres would come now if the deal is in significant installment splits. If Gyökeres comes, Havertz is going to be a problem. Hopefully he cuts out next year and we go back in for Alvarez. Perfect age profile. Smash the like button. But I might as well be sniffing toes and barbecuing. What the fuck? We plan for 3 years down the line every year and it doesn't ever come to fruition. We're getting Watkins and Sane on deadline day. Just make peace now, fellas. But I don't want Sterling at Arsenal. We need players that is a game changer. Younes Agon, Malik Fofana, Gabby Vega, Eze, for example. Would you say Eze is younger? I'm not a political guy, but F me, this year's election choices are an absolute shambles. Brother, it's dark. Their league goes. In 2023, we had 5 players score more than 10. Oh, sorry, that's a personal chat. All of them are frauds, man. They're all birds of the same feather, man. I understand politics. People want to put their hopes in, but how much time do you not want to? Like, if I was bad, man, what do people want? I'm going to lower taxes. I'm going to create jobs. I'm going to tell you all of these things. You vote me into power, and I might come true on some of those things. But once I'm in power, I'm going to do what I want to do, what's been my vested agenda, and I'm gone. And before all of my policies that I come out with, whether they harm you or not, I'm going to be gone. Welcome to politics. Anyways, Sporting Lisbon's Gyökeres and Seško are the 2 main contenders. Arsenal fans and those inside the club are torn on who is the better option. Both Gyökeres and Seško are top-class strikers in their own right. Each have plenty of positives and impressive goal records to boost their case to Arsenal's recruitment team. On one hand, a move for Seško would make sense given the Slovenian star has been a long-term target. Arsenal have done much of the groundwork on a potential deal, having been close to signing him last summer before the player became unsure over how much game time he'd get. Seško has since netted 26 goals for club and country this season, and at 21, the striker, who turns 22 on Saturday, I think he's turned 22 now, presents an ideal profile for future growth. A transfer to Arsenal almost feels like the perfect next step for Seško, who has carefully constructed his career to date. After moving to Salzburg at 16, he initially impressed on loan at their sister club, Leifring, who play in the Austrian second tier. 2 seasons saw him score 22 goals in 44 games, when he then made the step up to Salzburg's first team to fill the void left by Haaland's departure to Borussia Dortmund. He thrived, and in the summer of 2023, he had interest from several teams across Europe before he ultimately, obviously, chose to join Leipzig and stay within the Red Bull network. In Germany, he's gained crucial experience. He's got 21 goals in 45 games, even though they crashed out of the Champions League and won't qualify for the Champions League. Seško's variety of goals are also an added positive for potential suitors, with the 21-year-old having netted just 6 times from the penalty spot this season. Seško is strong with both feet and has scored multiple headers. Overall, he has an impressive career record of 90 goals and 25 assists in 210 matches. At 22, it's not worse. The experience of Champions League would also be useful to Arsenal. Across 4 seasons, Seško has scored just 6 goals in 28 games. However, it must be noted that the 21-year-old has genuinely played for teams that have struggled in the Champions League, and he did manage to net 4 times in 8 matches this time around. But when Arsenal are weighing up whether or not to go for Seško, is valued at 92.5 million, there are other factors that may encourage them to go for Gyökeres, people. The Swedish forward has enjoyed 2 incredible years at Sporting. We know Sporting are apparently searching for a striker, as they should, because Gyökeres probably is going to leave. They're demanding 70 million, so he'd be more experienced and once again young. He might be older than Seško, but he's more experienced and he's going to cost less, people. And Berta did want him during his time at Atletico Madrid. 97 goals in 102 games is mad. 2024-25, he got 54 goals and 13 assists in 52 games. He's 26 years of age, turning 27. He didn't make it at Brighton. To be honest, I might do a video on this, this is some good graphics. Despite his incredible record, there are a few concerns surrounding Gyökeres, including the fact that he'll be 27 at the start of next season. He can't help when his mom and dad had sex and his dad didn't pull out. Like, is that the only concern? And I get it, 27, but he's not 77. And I'm not going to lie, that is not even a concern, but like Brighton, who buy players from all over the world and develop them. Now, maybe you slip through the net. Once upon a time, Tom Brady wasn't on any scouts' radar. But why didn't you bang over there? And apparently, internally at Arsenal, figures are torn on whether the striker can hit the ground running in the Premier League. That's one thing that probably goes in Seško's favor, because he's younger. If he struggles, there's more light at the end of the tunnel. With Gyökeres, we'd need him to, even if he's struggling, to get out of that sooner rather than later. There's pros and cons to both. I'm happy with either. I prefer Gyökeres, but as you know, I'm a big fan of Seško. I'm not going to cry if we get Seško, man, if I'm honest with you. Nevertheless, the Sweden international's record is impressive. Gyökeres having netted 15 goals in 26 games in comparison to Seško's 16 and 41 for Slovenia. Whatever they decide, it feels as if Arsenal will be getting a top quality forward this summer, and one that will take them to a trophy after more than 5 years. And even that, talking about Seško can do it in 2-3 years' time. Gyökeres can do it for 5 years, and in that period of time, there's going to be the next Haaland, Gyökeres. Pardon me, Seško is that, next summer, we're all going to be, whatever you support Arsenal or not, we're all going to be waffling about players that we're not waffling about now. So just even if you sign Gyökeres now, you might just continue to scout Hugo Ekitike or whatever people. You get where I'm going with it. So yeah, man, both strikers have their qualities. Gyökeres possessing an incredible record over the past 2 years. In fact, in the 2024-25 season, the 26-year-old averaged a goal every 79 minutes. This outperforms Seško, whose goals per minute ratio is 156, while he has a conversion rate of 47.1%. Yeah, man, is what it is. Arsenal have also done plenty of due diligence on him as they target and have been tracking the 21-year-old. The Gunners have plenty of money to spend this summer, and although Seško is likely to be more expensive than Gyökeres, his physicality, age, and potential means Mel Sport favors him narrowly as the better option. Okay, that's good. On that as well, we already know that the framework has apparently been done on Gyökeres and Seško, and whatever happens, I don't know. We know Isak was a first choice of ours. We know Seško has universal backing of everyone. Since Berta's coming in, he's probably forced the case a bit more of Gyökeres. Crucially, though, it says Gyökeres is more economical, but would see the club divert from their long-term strategy, given Seško has always been a target. Sometimes doing things different can breed different results, people. We know a striker is a top priority of ours. We know what we failed to do in the summer in January. We're still linked with Gyökeres and Seško and Nico Williams and Martin Zubimendi. We're definitely not getting Garcia. This says Hato is being monitored. We know who's departing, people. Fabio Vieira's move is gone. Party's been offered fresh terms. Jorginho and Tini, we saw here in this article what happened there. Kivio has long-term interest from clubs in Italy and a big bid could test Arsenal's resolve. Fabio Vieira and Nelson both spent last season on loan, and it's unclear what their futures hold. So there's a lot to consider. Sky Germany are saying we're the only club to have made concrete contact with Leipzig so far. United are interested, but have not yet negotiated. We're the only team to have had contact on both sides, people. So yeah, Berta has all the information regarding the release clause, payment structures, and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll have to see. This article has said Arsenal could reportedly sign both Gyökeres and Seško this summer, although it's likely that only one new striker will join the club in the 2025-26 season. You reckon? It says Arteta is determined to bring a centre forward in. Currently, we're in talks with both players and are expected to finalize a deal for one of them at some point over the next few weeks. While landing Gyökeres and Seško is highly unlikely, Darmashef has revealed that a double deal would be financially possible for the Gunners. Financially, I think both Seško and Gyökeres are deals Arsenal could do, but we're told internal discussions are currently about which one of the two strikers to prioritize. There's clearly a long-standing interest in Seško. Arsenal explored whether a deal for the Leipzig striker was possible in January, but did not get any further. Gyökeres is a name that won't go away. He's another one in demand, having scored 92 goals in 102 games. Factors that will be weighed up by Arsenal are transfer fees and wages, but also profile and age. Having only just turned 22, Seško is considerably younger than Gyökeres, who's about to turn 27. While not impossible, I'd be surprised if they sign both. So, yeah, the article did me there, and it didn't really know much. We've explored both deals, and we're ready to move in either direction. Martin Zubimendi says he is expecting a different and long summer with the midfielder a long-term target for Arsenal. Of course, there are options, but it's true. It seems like it's going to be a different long summer, and I don't know how it will end. I'm not thinking about that now. That's not my priority. I'm here with the national team, which I think is already quite demanding. And if I have to say something, then I will. Then he went on to say, it's an example of what surrounds football. Many times I wake up in the morning and read things that I didn't know I'd done. That was a clear example. It's true that I don't take it very seriously. But anyways, I uploaded those photos to emphasize a little bit that it wasn't exactly the reality of what was happening. Fair enough, people. And then he's always on Xabi Alonso. I've always said that Alonso, is my idol. And for me, it was lucky that he was able to coach me in the reserve team in a very important year. The following year, I was already in the first team. And while I don't like to talk about hypothesis, I prefer to talk about the present, which is true. We've gone over that, people. Again, this article came out of Spain. Will it let me translate? Because this is where his actual interview has come out. And, you say things, it's down to interpretation. Are you going to Google Translate for me? We'll come back to that because I don't think it is. The ITKs of this world are saying Martin Zubimendi will be joining Arsenal Football Club pending a medical. Stop reacting to everything and anything. Zubimendi admits debunking Arsenal claim as the issues update. That's probably the same thing we've seen already, folks. Again, Gunner Blog did say yesterday the deal for Zubimendi to Arsenal is effectively agreed pending a medical. However, confirmation may not be made until July, as Real Sociedad have expressed this preference due to accounting purposes. How far do you think that is as well, people? How far do you think that goes? I don't know, man. I don't know. But it feels to me Zubimendi's been a bit diplomatic. Arsenal are keen on Anthony Gordon, Williams, and Rodrigo. Believe it when I see it, mate. Believe it when I see it. Jorginho set to undergo a medical with Flamengo on Friday as his announced move is gone. As you know, in wide areas, we've been linked with Leroy Sane. Our coaching staff are admirers of Rodrigo, but it's going to cost too much. We like Gordon. We like Nico Williams. It's probably a myth there. Apparently, Atletico Madrid have begun initial talks with Nico Williams to renew his contract. Discussions include a deal that would increase his current 58 million release clause and push the player's salary towards 10 million a year. And that's further confirmation here. Yesterday, you did hear Chelsea were the front runners, and then you hear about Arsenal. We're in the market for a goalkeeper. We are not getting Garcia. It seems like he's getting Barcelona. We've been linked with Timber's brother, Quinton Timber. Whether you believe that or not, it's your business. Experienced goalkeeper Walter Benitez apparently is on the verge of a Premier League move. The 32-year-old is a free agent. Apparently, a major Premier League club is unknown. That's in for him. Would it be too far-fetched to assume that that's Arsenal? I don't know. Speaking of goalkeepers, West Ham are considering making a move for Aaron Ramsdale, so there must be a percentage owed to us. Ollie Watkins moving to Arsenal has not been discounted entirely, but the club do have reservations on the price. Sources close to Rodrigo state he wants to speak to Xabi Alonso and the club before making a decision on his future. We've heard that already. We've gone over that. Nothing there for us. What's Gyökeres? He's insisted that no decision has been made on his future. Barcelona allegedly interested. Oh, this is the same thing. We'll see. Nobody knows anything yet. I wish I had more of a fun answer, but that's all I can say for now. Tired of hearing about Seško and Gyökeres, if I'm brutally honest, man. Like, link up, just give me a new player's picture to put in my thumbnails and in the title, man. It's boring now. I can't decide. Arsenal player wants moved to specific club, all down to the Gunners. Lokonga. It's been a season with a lot of bad luck. I've done everything possible to be ready and prepared. I think it's harder mentally. There have been 4 or 5 injuries this year. I've done more specific work to find out what's wrong with my hamstring, what areas I need to work on. I can't tell you everything, but it's the reason I went. I don't know what my future holds, but if Sevilla can, I want to stay here. There are many things I can't decide. I have a 1-year contract with Arsenal. All options are open. Brother, stay over there then. Sevilla, buy someone. Let's get a talented young player. That Agami guy. Lokonga must knock about 50 million off the price tag. I've said it often. I want to defend this badge. Now there are many things coming out that I can't choose. The situation with Arsenal, the money Arsenal is going to ask for, Sevilla's situation, and whether they can pay Arsenal. My contract, there are many things I can't decide. Apparently, we've extended his contract, as some of you have seen. Some of you wanted Inzaghi at Arsenal. You're going to be disappointed because he seems to be going to Saudi Arabia, and Cesc Fabregas could become Inter Milan manager, people. We've gone over this as well. I don't believe this, but apparently Arsenal face Man City and Barcelona threat as superpowers IMAX Dolman. Naturally, he's a talented player. I'm sure they're going to want to tempt a very talented player that's probably going to be away in pre-season, done well for England at youth level, captained the under-18s, and played for England in the under-17s Euro, which was a disappointing collective campaign, and is only 15. And Arteta said he'd be part of the first team in some capacity. Man City and Barcelona have expressed an interest. Barca, I hear it. City, you probably will still make it, but you're going to be one of many there. He only turned 15 in December, so he turned 16 later this year. Sources close to the situation suggest both clubs have made initial approaches to signal their interest in Dalman, aware of the long-term potential he holds. Barcelona, who have continued to prioritize youth recruitment through their famed La Masia network, are said to admire his style and see him as a natural fit for their possession-based philosophy. They're at a major disadvantage because he cannot join them until he turns 18 unless his parents relocate. And that's obviously not the case with Man City, but apparently Arsenal are confident of retaining him and are fully aware of the situation and remain relaxed about the situation. They believe they have the right structure, pathway, and philosophy in place to help Dalman thrive and are committed to integrating him into the long-term plans under Arteta. Club insiders view Dalman as one of the standout talents of his age group, undoubtedly, and a potential homegrown star of the future. There's a clear ambition at Arsenal to turn him into a first-team regular in the years ahead. He listens to Mans Malone, so big him up. Mirroring the progress of the likes of Saka and Wanyeri, why have you not put Miles Lewis-Skelly and actually Nelson and Iwobi and Smith Rowe and Joe Willock, players that and Balogun, whether they're here or not, but okay, who have both emerged from academy ranks to feature at senior level. While Dalman is still in the early stages of his development, Arsenal's intent is clear: fend off European giants and build the next generation of Gunner superstars from within. Fair enough. How long before we're linked with Grimando? He's apparently linked with Barcelona and obviously Real Madrid, and we need a left back. We've agreed our first departure. Marquinhos has left. We're set to bank over 2.5 million from him joining Caruso. So what's that, 500 grand loss? for the 22-year-old. But Eddie, you need to tell us that this was a brown envelope, man, because that's the only way this move makes sense. We have been linked with Morgan Gibbs White, and he's been linked with City. This has said a move is now unlikely following City signing Rangers. So is Morgan Gibbs White's free for all? And we've already gone over the fact Rodrigo hasn't made up his mind, and Arsenal, Chelsea, and City apparently all interested. Hansi Flick suggested signing Ademola Lookman. His price could be around 60 million euros, but sources say he could be sold for around 30 million euros. We getting that done? I'm on that for 30 million. Pardon me. Arsenal throwing lifeline in race to sign next Odegaard after club present to family. Apparently, it's Nepan's move to Villa has hit the rocks. Fair enough. Villa made a strong effort to convince him. So why doesn't he want to go there now?